Morning, friends, and welcome to another podcast this morning. Last night, while I was asking the Lord what is on his heart to share with you guys this morning, he reminded me of a word that he gave to me on the 8th of April this year. The word is written in Afrikaans, so I'm not going to translate it, but it's not all specifically about this word, but it's something inside this word that he's given me. And he was talking about when he came to rip out the rug out from underneath my husband and my feet. And it wasn't done subtly. It was a complete rip, and we fell. But we still fell into his hands. We still fell into his grace. He was still there. He still covered and still protected us. But the rip was so hard on us that it did cause a lack of trust in God. It caused a lot of emotions. I'm just going to say that. There was a lot of emotions that played a very big role. I want to also say that it started affecting a part of my identity, but it had to. It's all in the plan. It's all in the plan with why God did this. And one of the reasons why he did it, that he was saying, he said that religion and pride started taking root in my life. Now, I can't speak on behalf of my husband. He has his own journey. But in my life, there was religion and pride that started taking root. And I started moving away from a place of intimate relationship with God to a place of legalism and self-righteousness, glory, my own glorification. The list goes on. So I completely understand why he had to rip that carpet out from underneath our feet. There was no playing around. And as we know, God is a jealous God, and he's also a loving Father that cares more about the condition of our hearts and our minds than he actually cares about anything else. And our relationship with him it's very important. But what Abba showed me last night was that when this took place, this ripping the rug out from our feet, it was a season that we were in, but that season is closed off. That season is done. He's still working in my heart, and I think this is a daily thing that he's going to do, and that we have to position ourselves in front of God regarding our hearts, because religion can sneak in, pride can sneak in. Things can sneak in, people. And back then, I spent more time with God than what I do now. And all I'm saying is that I thought what I was doing was right, and it wasn't. But that's a story for another day. It's not for today. But anyways, so God showed me a verse, Romans 5, 3-5. Where it says here, we can rejoice too when we run into problems and trials. We know that they help us develop endurance, and endurance develops strength of character, and character strengthens our confidence and hope of salvation. So we need to go through these trials and seasons. But now what God was showing me, that after the season of what he's done there has closed. Look, there's a lot more to do with this word, so I'm not giving all the details, so it might sound a bit confusing with what I'm on about now, but that season was closed. And then we go into the transition season that takes us into the new season. And this transition season can look very different. It can, and a lot of times, I know for myself, out of my own experiences, the transition season is very confusing. You feel like, what's going on? I don't hear God's voice. You want to grab onto everything, and you feel lost. And everything feels out of whack. Okay. And I remember God showed me the ones that, the transition season is very difficult, because he has to come take off. And he literally showed me how I was sitting in wineskin, and I was full and fat in this wineskin, and I was bursting at the seams, and he had to start tearing pieces by pieces off. And he showed me that while he was taking the thread out and everything, it really hurts. And while he's peeling the skin off, it hurts. But then something that he showed me last night that I never, ever in my life would have thought of. And God is so amazing, people, really. He is so amazing. But then he showed me that, when you, like some people, when they're bedridden or when they bound to, a wheelchair and stuff, people can get bed sores if they're not moved, if they don't have special, I remember when we moved to Ireland, I worked in a nursing home and we had special little, what do you call them, like donuts and things that we had to put on certain places, and we had to position people, the elderly people, in certain ways so that they won't get bed sores. So God was showing me that this is the same with our seasons, that when we're in this wineskin, we grow and we grow and we get lekker. Oh, sorry, I'm starting to speak Afrikaans here. We get fat and we like expand, and then our skin starts rubbing against this wineskin, and it rubs and it rubs and it starts forming sores, bed sores, wineskin sores. And that's also why the process is so sore, because as he's peeling off the wineskin off of that wound, that sore of sitting and starting to get comfortable. That's why comfort zones is not nice. We shouldn't be in comfort zones, even though we like them. It's harmful, and it hurts, and that sore hurts. And now God comes and he's given us a new wineskin. And I saw it last night, and he showed me that he first had to put ointment on, he had to bandage my wounds, and he had to tend to my wounds, and then he started putting my new wineskin on, which is now also uncomfortable, but at the same time, it is comfortable because you have peace, your wounds are tended to, you don't feel that sore and that uncomfortable because you can feel, sometimes also when, I don't know about you guys, but I have found sometimes that when I go to sleep, there are times that I lie my arm, when you lie your arm dead and you wake up and it's sore and it's uncomfortable, but at the same time, you can feel this relief because, you can move your arm now and it's still uncomfortable, but the blood is rushing through, but you can move it now. And it's the same thing, friends, that when the new season comes in and when we transition out of the old season into the new season and we're getting our healing in that middle part and we are bandaged up, it's sore, but it's comfortable. It's the same. We are uncomfortable in the situation. We don't understand what's going on, but we have this hope and peace in us because we know we are moving into a new season. And that is what God is doing. He's giving us hope and he's giving us peace and he's tending to our wounds. And we need to end the transition. And I want to encourage you guys that those who are in the season, transition season, because my seasons that I've been through with the transition, it was always confusing. You're not understanding. It's uncomfortable. But this was something new God was showing me, that there are some transitions that it's not about the uncomfortable part. It's about the healing part of what happened in the previous season. Like when God had to come and rip the rug out from underneath my feet, I now have to go through the season of healing. And one of the things, I'm just going to mention it, just going to throw it out there. I'm still struggling to process this part. God said to me, I need to forgive him. And I was like, how? How do I forgive you? You are God. Everything you do for our good. Everything you do is perfect and intentional. You do it for us. So why? How? And I was still saying to my friend, this feels uncomfortable. And she was like, just go and do it. Go and forgive him. And I spoke to God and I said to him, this is uncomfortable. Like, I really am struggling to process, like, how? How must I forgive you? And he said to me, he's like, my child, but you are human with human emotions and human feelings. And what I did hurt you. Even though it was for your good, it still affected you. And now it's affecting my trust relationship with you, because now you're struggling to trust me because you don't know what is ahead, and what if I do that again? And I had to go through this, and I had to say, God, I forgive you. And it still feels uncomfortable at moments, but yet as I'm saying it right now to you guys, I feel emotional, because I realize that he is such a loving God, and he really cares about our hearts. And he wants us to go through this healing process because it's important for him to get us to a place to trust him, to trust that his heart is good for us, even when it looks like it's coming down, what, hailing brimstone and fire. Even when it is coming down like that, he's still our umbrella, he's still our covering, he's still our protection. It reminds me of, I'm not going to try and say these guys' names because I'm going to butcher it, but Sajik, something like that, the three men in the furnace, that they saw a fourth, and it was Jesus with them. They didn't burn, they felt the heat. And sometimes we're going to feel the uncomfortable seasons, we're going to experience it, but he is still in the midst of it. And it's okay when we feel what's happened. It's okay to say, God, I'm struggling to trust you in this process. It's okay to say, Lord, I forgive you, and I understand why you did it. And you know why also I have to say this? That when we go through a healing process, especially when things have happened to us and there's hurt that's happened, we go through the process of saying, I forgive you, I forgive myself. And then we start talking to God about what's happened, and we allow him to show his truth in the situation. And it's not anything different from when a season that God has taken us through, that he's allowed things to happen, to go through the same process. God, I forgive you, I forgive myself. And not allow condemnation to creep up, not allow the lies of your flesh and the lies of the enemy to dictate and dictate your destiny and your journey with God. So friends, I hope this has encouraged you today, and go out, go back, go to the feet, not go out, sorry, go back to the feet of the Lord, and allow him to tend and mend to those wounds of the previous season in the transition period. I love you guys, and take care.